Hey crew, be prepared for what you're about to see. Keep an eye on that health bar up top. This is the legendary campaign, so I am 15 light level underpowered, and we make it look like easy mode in Destiny 2. Then after the legendary campaign clips here, I'm going to show you guys what I do against 2 overload champions and a ton of different enemies in a 1580 Master Lost sector. This is the power of ×2 healing and sunspots, and I don't know about you guys, but I had no idea that healing could stack. And when I was messing around with this build yesterday, it really blew my mind because since it can stack and pretty much out-heal most damage in the game besides maybe the damage in a Grandmaster, we can combine a few different things here with this build, and I'm talking some crazy things and numbers. With this build, we're basically unkillable as you can see because we're stacking healing from 3 different sources. We have unlimited abilities as well, endless grenades, barricades, and melees. And then on top of that, we have a 145% damage buff that we're ramping up all the time, and using an exotic that has kind of been forgotten, but now with this build and setup, we can take it to the next level. Because of the continuous healing and always have that healing, our exotic no longer damages us, so we can take advantage of the 100% damage increase that it provides and out-heal the damage that it normally does to us. If you guys enjoyed this video or found it helpful, then make sure to hit that subscribe button for me and become part of the crew here. Also, for my regular viewers, if you could let this video play out once for me until the end, that would be absolutely amazing of you and go a long way in supporting the channel. So thank you so much if you do so. I really appreciate it. Okay, so what the heck is going on here? How are we able to just tank and heal through all the damage that we're taking? And there's 3 different sources that that's coming from. First is the subclass perk, and that is Soul Invictus. Every time we get a kill with an ability that's our grenade or melee, we are healing ourselves. That's going to completely heal us. So that's our first way of getting our healing. Our second source is Well of Life. Every time we pick up a solar elemental well, we get unlimited healing, continuous healing for 10 seconds straight. This healing doesn't stop. It doesn't matter if you take damage, it doesn't matter what's going on. You're just going to keep healing for 10 seconds. Now that alone is not enough to stop the Tommy's Matchbook from hurting you, but when we combine it with our third, and that is our exotic helmet here, Lorelai's Splendor. Cauterizing Flame. Your sunspots heal you when you are critically wounded with full class ability energy, or when you cast your barricade, create a sunspot at your location. So we're popping our barricade and we're creating a sunspot. This sunspot is now healing us. This is a ×1 healing buff on your left hand side. Then we pick up our Solar Well. This gives us a ×2 healing buff. Now, since we have a ×2 healing buff for 10 seconds and we always have this up, we're out healing the damage we're taking, which is just insane. And then on top of that, ability kills heal you, and if your sunspots kill enemies out and about as you're creating the sunspots, they're going to heal you as well. So healing coming from all different sources. Then with the Sun Warrior perk, passing through a sunspot causes your grenade and melee abilities to recharge faster and your super to last longer. It also increases the damage your weapons deal. So Sun Warrior is doing a bunch of different things for us. 1, it's letting us just sit there in a sunspot and 1, protect ourselves when people come into that sunspot. 2, it is causing our grenade and melee ability to recharge faster, and it's a lot faster. It makes the super last longer when you're in the super, and then it's giving us a 20% damage buff to all our weapons at all times. I can't stress how powerful that is. It's all 3 of your weapons, your primary, your secondary, and your heavy. So that doesn't even have to match an element or anything like that. So very, very strong perk here. So now that we've handled our survivability and can heal through pretty much all damage in the game, and we have unlimited abilities with our sunspots and picking up solar wells, the next thing we're going to do is focus on our damage and get that damage very high. We're talking like 150% here, like through the roof damage. First, we have 20% damage buff from our sunspots. We have this all the time because we're always creating sunspots and we're always just standing in them. We pop our barricade with our exotic right, sunspot, boom. Second is Font of Might. This is a 25% weapon damage buff on top of everything else in the game. So every time we pick up that solar well, we proc Font of Might for 10 seconds. This gives us a solar damage boost to our solar weapons. And of course, our exotic of choice that we're using in our secondary is a solar weapon. This is Tommy's Matchbook. Basically, we have ourselves a little Gatling gun here, and while holding down the trigger, we start to burn ourselves into critical health. But in doing so, we get a 100% damage buff to our Tommies, which is amazing, but not ideal at the cost of becoming one-shot, right? Like, it's just not worth it. It's not practical. But now that we can have healing ×2, we can actually out-heal the damage we take, and since that's the case, we can always have this 100% damage buff and stack it with Sunspots and Font of Might for a total of like 145% damage increase on our single weapon. And remember, exotic primary's got the 40% damage buff to red bars, so this thing feels amazing now. And when it's all working together, just wait until Solar 3.0 comes out and it makes it even better within the subclass if we can do a few different things. Oh man, this thing's going to be amazing. But as you can see in the gameplay, in being 15 light level under in the legendary campaign, you can see how it just melts through enemies. Even like the yellow bar witch, it literally just tears through them because you have such a big damage boost going on with the weapon. So we have the unlimited healing now, ×2 healing proccing with healing from Sunspots. We have the unlimited abilities with our Sunspots, and then we have the insane damage with our weapon, and this weapon is absolutely awesome. On top of that, we're going to add in a few extra mods to just send the build over the top. For your stats, try to aim for 100 resilience because you always want to have a barricade to always proc your Sunspot, and then you want to have 100 discipline so you can always have that grenade up. On our helmet, I had Ashes to Assets so we can get some bonus super energy on grenade kills, and we're always chucking those grenades out. And then I also had Elemental Armaments. Combatant weapon final blows with a damage type that matches your subclass element have an escalating chance to spawn a elemental well. So our Tommy's matchbook now can spawn wells when you get about 4 or 5 kills, and we are getting so many kills with it that you spawn a bunch of wells. We also have Font of Might. Picking up an elemental well that matches your subclass energy type grants that extra bonus damage. We already went over this one, so I don't need to go over it again. We have Elemental Ordnance. Defeating a combatant with a grenade spawns an elemental well that matches your subclass energy type. This is our main way of spawning wells along with elemental armaments. So your grenade can spawn wells, and then just your normal weapon kills can spawn wells. So we're always going to creating those wells while we're sitting behind that barricade in our Sunspot. And since we don't want to leave that barricade because it protects us and we have a Sunspot sitting there, we're throwing on Seeking Wells. Elemental wells you create will move across the ground towards enemy players. So now those solar wells are just coming straight to us, and we can sit behind the barricade, pick them up, and just keep doing our normal gameplay loop without leaving the barricade. If you're a little too far from the wells, just move up a little bit, pop the barricade again, right? And keep repositioning yourself that way. And then of course you want Well of Life. Picking up a solar elemental well grants increased regeneration for a short period of time. This is huge for the build, right? This gives the ×2 healing on top of the healing from the Sunspots to just make it that much better. And then on the class item, I was running Utility Kickstart to just help with getting the barricade back as fast as possible. So when your class ability energy is fully expended, you gain class ability energy when you use it. And I double stacked this, so it basically gives about 30% of our barricade instantly when I pop a barricade, right? That way you can just cycle through the barricades faster and faster, which is what you want because you always want to have that Sunspot. You pop the Sunspot, that kind of creates your chain, right? You pop that Sunspot, throw the grenade, and then you just chain from there. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. I don't know about you guys, but I had no idea ×2 healing stacked, and it just blew my mind that it can do this because that means it can out-heal Tommy's matchbook. I tried Tommy's matchbook originally with just sitting with a Sunspot, and it does work, but it doesn't fully heal through the damage you're taking from Tommy's, so you would still get kind of low health. With this way and the setup we have it, you never have to worry about damaging yourself with Tommy's matchbook, which is it's fun. It's a really fun way to play the game. I hope to see you guys all in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it, and there's probably a couple videos up on screen that you might not have seen. Go give them a watch. It really helps the channel out, and if you haven't seen them, I'm sure you will enjoy them.